Hey Queenies, welcome to my Get Ready With Me vlog and Q&A. Okay, so I've got my questions here. How did you meet your boyfriend? I'd known of Daniel for a really long time. He obviously owned Street X and I knew of Street X and I was like a bit of a fangirl. And he had been in my DMs since like 2015 and I always had boyfriends and I just would never really give him the time of day. I would leave him unseen or like pretend I hadn't seen the message when I had. Messaging me for ages, kept barring him, wasn't really giving him the time of day, and then I asked him for a job and he was like, I need your number. Didn't reply. And then I met him at a party and literally hit it off. Ever since then, it's just been me and him. We've almost been together for 6 years. In December it'll be, and yeah, he's the fucking bomb. Okay, this is a really good one. What's the advice for getting the ball rolling on a big project? So I guess I'll reference work. I'm pretty, I don't know, I'm holding a lot of stuff and stress myself out, and I don't communicate very well when I'm under the pump, which is literally at the moment. I'm really stressed at work and I'm just not communicating how I'm feeling, and it's making my life harder in return. So I'm learning still, but to get the ball rolling on a big project, I would just say like organization and just like map out all the steps you need to take. And honestly, like just tick them off one by one. Rome wasn't built in a day, so sometimes you have good days where you're productive and you just like slay, and then other days are a bit slower and it's a bit harder. But as long as you're like putting in work every day and you're getting little micro jobs done, and sometimes another good thing I'd say is if you get stuck on a certain part of the task, just leave it, go to something else and then come back to it. And with fresh eyes, you might have a completely different perspective and be able to solve that problem. So what made you want to start a YouTube channel? To be honest, I've always loved YouTube. I love watching influencers. Like one of my favorites is Molly May and I'm just obsessed with her and I love watching all of her stuff. So I thought, why not? It's just another place where the videos are a little bit longer. You can talk about things a little bit more, and I just feel like it's a platform that doesn't judge. Like Instagram to me is just super judgy, and I'll be the first to say like it's really a highlight reel, and I feel like people don't get super honest on Instagram, which sucks. So I just feel like YouTube is a great place to just open up and share your stories. And yeah. Next question. How is life after Survivor? Life is great. Life is really busy. I've gone straight back into my job at Street X, and at the same time I'm trying to navigate my own personal career. I've signed with a new talent agent from Melbourne. They're called AMW Media. So I'm hoping that this relationship will kind of grow to some amazing things, some TV opportunities, hopefully. I'd love to get back on the screen, some hosting, presenting, keynote, that sort of stuff. I love talking to people. I'm a big, out there, bubbly person, and I feel like, why not? If I've got, you know, a little bit more attention on me now, I suppose, it's just a great time to just jump into that world and see if I can make something of myself. Because like, I've always loved TV. I love being in front of the camera. I love being behind the camera. Whoa, there's some really funny ones on here, but I don't think they're appropriate. Great question about Survivor. I don't know how you managed to be so loyal to George after Shonny. It's a game, and I feel like as difficult as it is when you're out there to remember that, because you know you're in such a confined space with people and you literally become a family, and when you form like genuine relationships with people like I did with Shani, like I did with George, it does get really difficult when people do things where in the real world you'd be like, if anyone did that to me, I would kick them to the curb and be done with them. But because you're in a game, you really have to like, the lines are blurred between like reality and gameplay, and it's really, really difficult. And I'll be honest, like when everything happened with Shawnee initially and George got rid of her, I was so upset. Like, they didn't really cover as much as how upset I was. Like, I was absolutely devastated. I was crying. I was excluding myself from the group. But I just realized if I sit here and get upset and, you know, wallow in my sorrows, I'm going to be gone and I'm going to be picked up as a massive target for having a lapse in my emotions. So I just had to pick myself up and keep moving. And at the end of the day, all I kept reminding myself was it's a game and this is what it's about. And if you want to make it to the end, you have to backstab people, unfortunately. That's the whole Survivor's about: deceit, outwit, outplay, outlast. And, you know, unfortunately, the game permits you to do some dodgy stuff where in the real world, it would be frowned upon. Worst pole vaulting accident you've had? Well, actually I broke my leg. I'll see if I can get my leg up for you on the camera. I don't know if that's in focus or not, but I broke my leg. I had an accident pole vaulting where I fell into the box and essentially I like crunched my leg back like that and I shattered the top of my tibia, I think it was, inside my kneecap. So that was great. That literally took me out for about a year. This was right before the Rio Olympics. And it was awful time. Very depressed, very difficult, very hard to bounce back from that and be positive and optimistic like I usually am. But in saying that, I think it was one of the biggest blessings of my athletic career because it really just made me realize how much I wanted to be a pole vaulter, how much I cared about the sport, and the fact that it was taken away from me for a brief second just really kind of shook me and made me realize how much I love it. And so it kind of gave me this newfound lease on sport and what it meant to me and how I wanted to get back. And I did. I got back and actually did better than I did before, which is pretty cool. How are you finding life post-professional athlete? Really good question. I feel amazing. I feel like it gave me the opportunity to do something like Survivor and explore other options out there for me. I feel as though my time in sport came to an end because I just began to not be driven. I wasn't passionate. I didn't have the sacrifice or the commitment. And so it was just time. Like, I'd been doing it since I was 10, younger than 10. I'm 29 now. So it had been a really, really long time and I just lost that desire. A lot of athletes do get lost when they finish sport and transition into the real world. But thankfully for me, I'd always worked throughout pretty much my whole athletics career. So I knew what was awaiting me. I had an incredible job at Street X already, had an amazing partner, amazing family, amazing friends. And I feel like that just really helped me I had that support network around me and it allowed me to, you know, feel safe. And it's a big change. It's like grieving the loss of someone when you finish professional sport. It's like losing an arm or losing a leg because it's something you're just used to doing all the time. And then when it's taken away from you, it's a really big shock. But I've transitioned, my phone's ringing, from South Sudan. I will not be picking that up. I feel like I've transitioned really well. I'm super happy. I'm super content. I feel really lucky that I got to leave the sport on my terms. A lot of athletes get injured and they're forced into that decision, but I luckily got to decide for myself. And yeah, I'm really, really happy. This is the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Honestly, amazing. I'm just gonna go in again because it's so fucking good. Would you join the next season of Survivor? I would do it again. Call me up, Endemol Shine, Channel 10. Have you spent all your winnings yet? Absolutely not. Money's something I've always valued a lot. Being a professional athlete, it's something that I always struggled with a lot as well because some athletes get paid really well and some get paid nothing. So athletics gets paid quite poorly in Australia unless you're winning medals at major championships, which I wasn't doing, so hence why I had to work my whole athletic career. Yeah, money for me is very, very important and very valuable, and for a long, long time I was living paycheck to paycheck, and now to have that safety net and not have that stress feels amazing. So no, I haven't blown my money. I tend to be really smart with it. I'm going on a holiday in about 3 weeks for 5 weeks. So I'm thinking I will spend quite a bit of money on that. But apart from that, I will be investing all of my money. I'm a money savvy queen. I will not blow my money. Do you ever see Shani anymore? Well, unfortunately, for those people that don't know Australia, I live in WA, which is one side, and then Shani lives on the complete other side in Noosa. So unfortunately, we are like a 6-hour flight away from one another. So I've seen her once since we finished filming, which was awesome. I am really planning and hoping to get over to Noosa to visit her. But like I've mentioned, I've just been so busy with work that I haven't had any time, but I will definitely be going to visit. We still talk very, very frequently. Love her to bits, and I'm confident we're going to be friends for a while. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was it to play Survivor? Honestly, the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Nothing can prepare you for it. Being away from your family, no contact, no food, no coffee, no warm clothes, no blankets, no bed, just honestly, like, I cannot describe how hard it was. Keep in mind, I am a bit of a crybaby, so some people might say it was really easy for them, but I found it really hard. Like, hand on my heart, harder than going to the Olympics. Yeah, honestly, hardest thing ever. But in saying that, most absolutely rewarding thing ever. Like, to be able to do that and come out of the other side, and regardless of winning or not, just to put yourself in that position and do something so out there and wild and difficult is really empowering and the best experience ever, best thing I've ever done. Challenged me more than anything ever, but I think that's why it's so special, because it was so challenging and I still did it, and that to me is just worth more than any amount of money. So I loved it. Honestly, people, apply for it. Do it. Lots of Survivor questions. Oh, someone said come back to the Ask community, Liz. We miss you. I miss you too, but I will not be returning. How old were you when you moved to Australia? I moved here just before I was 3. I was born in Moscow, Russia. All of my family's pretty much back there. I've got 2 sisters in Melbourne, an auntie in Perth, and then everyone else is back in Russia or overseas. My mum and dad are back in Russia overseas. My friend's here and I need to let her in the gate and I'll be back. Okay. I'm running late. Serena's here. There's my makeup. You can kind of see it. I went really chill. Obviously, I just focused on the face like I love doing. Like, I just love the skin. I still just need to do a little bit of brow gel and lipstick, but that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the Q&A. It was short and sweet. Click like, subscribe.